Good morning, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess from BehatiLife. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today is going to be a different video. This is me inviting you a little bit more into my morning ritual. Normally, my ritual is something that I do as soon as I wake up in the morning, and it's usually inside. But I set intention recently for an outdoor space, a courtyard, a private courtyard within the city, which is kind of difficult to find, and that manifested itself recently, and the weather finally changed, so I wanted to bring my sacred time outside. I wanted to invite you in to see what it looks like and what it feels like. This is my practice for what I do right before I pull cards for, or right as I'm pulling cards for everyone on Instagram. However, it's something that I would normally be doing inside and at my altar. I will be taking my time with this video because that's what I would normally be doing anyways. So hopefully you have the time to sit in and join in while Franklin growls in the background. I'm setting the intention that no matter where you are in the world, no matter what day it is and what time, that this message that you receive comes to you with perfect timing. I ask that this message be for your highest and greatest good, for all of our highest and greatest good. I ask for the angels and the guides to be with me here now, and to bless me, and to protect me. I ask that the messages be clear and obvious, and that when we hear it, we know exactly what to do with it. And that when we know what to do, we have the faith and strength to follow through and do what we know we need to do. I ask, universe, that you bless our lives and you fill them abundantly. I ask for pleasant surprises today and good vibes on good vibes on good vibes. And I thank you so much for being here with me now, being present with me in this moment. Feel free to take a few deep breaths. While I shuffle the cards. So I'm working with the Rider-Waite today, my mini Rider-Waite deck. That's what I usually use when I'm working for clients and also when I pull for myself. And there's a few cards that jumped out. I'm not working with any particular spread this morning. I usually don't with daily practice, with my daily pull, because I like to stay open and just let the angels say what they need to say. I'm not trying to direct the conversation. I just want to listen. So I'm not using a spread for this. Currently, right now in this moment, Mercury is going to be moving from retrograde to direct. And right now, that's really important to say. And also, we're on the horizon of a new moon. And that's also really important to say because there's a shifting in energy right now. All of us are feeling this. And Mercury retrograde around this time has more potent energy than it does weak energy. When Mercury, even when he's retrograde, in the middle of his retrograde period, he is gently retrograde. when he's about to go direct, it's like a huge temper tantrum. And that's because everything is switching up, everything is changing. And that's where we're at right now. And with this new moon coming up, and in this phase that we're in right now currently, everything is settling and becoming still, but we're still like waiting for certain things to kind of fall into place and to, I don't want to say reveal themselves, but organize themselves and situate themselves. And this comes in the form of communication. This comes in the form of things breaking down. This comes in the form of things not making sense. And when I'm looking at these cards now, it's double death. I'm not even surprised to see that. Two of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, and King of Wands. And death, I'm not surprised to see that now, because we have been asked to revisit and to reevaluate and to shift our focus and our priority, and to be really flexible with it. And the death card shows up when there's areas and things within our lives that is rotten and is not meant to last or to thrive and survive. And that's why it's the death card, because it needs to be let go of, because it does not serve it's not serving its purpose anymore. And if we hold on to it, not only are we blocking our blessings because we're not having faith in what's coming, but we don't allow things to shift into what they need to be. And the death card is a reflection, again, of this change that we need to be open to in our lives now, minimally. Mercury retrograde has a tendency to, does bring back things from the past, not to say, look, this is something that is for you, but something that says, I want you to learn from this. I want you to see this again. And when you see it, you can then decide, does this feel good? Does this feel right? Does this fit into your life? And to make a decision not based on fear, but based on inner knowledge, inner knowingness. And that requires faith and fearlessness. It requires courage. Because logically, sometimes we don't have a confirmation of what's ahead of us. We can only go with our feeling, our gut instinct. The thing that I see is people, like during this Mercury retrograde period, you have to, like the cards are suggesting, is to look at what is in front of you right now and to weigh and assess its value, especially when it comes to things that you see crumbling around you. The word that comes to me is potential. And sometimes people stay in situations because they see the potential in them. Especially sensitives, especially people like empaths, especially people who like are forgiving and soft-hearted. Even if they have a hard exterior, they're still soft on the inside. And for that, they can see the potential within something, whether a job opportunity, a circumstance, a person, a relationship. And they wait for that potential. Maybe they pray for signs. Maybe they wait for signs. Maybe they keep fueling and giving and feeding with their energy, with their love, with their attention, with their money, with their resources to help to feed someone or something's potential. And in this situation, this week and this weekend, it's saying, like, logically, take a step back and reevaluate and look out at everything. You can find potential in anything. You can find potential anywhere. But that doesn't mean that you have to invest yourself and waste your resources. The death card, again, is highlighting weak spots and dead areas that are stank. It doesn't matter how much potential is there. You have to kind of like, it's what the cards are suggesting, what the energy is suggesting is, it's like, if it has a stench to it, and if it's like breaking down, if it's dead, if it's stagnant, if it's overgrown, if you've outgrown it, then you have to look at it and say, I can't actually give to this more than what I already have. I've given you so much. I've given so much of myself. I've given so much of my resources. I need to tend and care for what is growing and what the universe is begging me to pay attention to. It's fear that keeps us in situations that are not for our highest and greatest good anymore. It's okay to love someone or love something and to, at one point, invest yourself in it. Because I do see a lot of energy of investment, and I do see a lot of energy of like time and commitment and the potential that is there within that commitment. But sometimes you're waiting for potential that will take too long. And by that time, you've missed your own opportunity, you've missed your own growth, you've missed your own progression, waiting to see this seed and to grow. On the flip side of that, people are experiencing a lot of growth right now and blessing. And with that, I still see this energy of looking out and assessing and investing and tending and growing. And actually, as I say that, I feel like when I said that, exactly. It's like a thought popped in your head or a feeling popped in your head, and you're like, even if it doesn't excite you, or even if you would like it to be something else, it's still a blessing from the universe. It's still where the universe wants you to go, and you have no idea where that's going to take you. You just know that the universe is guiding you in that direction. That's the beauty, again, of the death card, is that where certain things have ended or certain things are changing or dying out, and you're restarting this new phase in your life, things grow, things prosper, things build, because the soil is so fertile. And I see potential. That's the major word here that I see, is potential. But it's knowing and watching where the signals are kind of blinking you and trying to direct you and guide you. The other thing that I see is, I want to say that change is not easy. Change is emotional. Change is inevitable. Change creates excitement just as much as it creates pain. All of that is normal. That's what it's designed to look like. That's what it's supposed to look like. With the death card too, think of it as like people who are leaving high school and moving on to college. Like, you spent 4 years in high school, most of us, and you made friendships, you become accustomed to that environment and it feels comfortable to you. And you're watching your friends get accepted into other universities, or taking on jobs, or working internships, or traveling, or spiritually finding themselves. And you are going on your journey. And that's a death phase. That's a period of death and transition in your life, because it's the death of the old and the birth of the new. And it's emotional. It's so emotional. But it's a transition. It's a movement forward. It's time to move on. It's time to move forward. And there is a lot of emotion that is there. The thing that I see is thick skin. And part of that is a barrier for your own protection. But more than that, well, not a barrier, but like a wall. But more than that, it really truly is. It's there to protect you and to make you resilient. And when I say resilient, I don't mean to say that you have, you're closed off to your emotions. I feel like a lot of people, they hear like, oh, I'm strong, I'm independent, so I'm not going to let this, break me down and make me cry. Being strong doesn't mean that you don't have emotion. Being strong doesn't mean that you don't experience feelings and you don't release those feelings. Being strong means allowing yourself to be vulnerable and to feel what you're feeling and to not judge it. And I see this thick skin as protection, so that even as you're moving forward, even as you're feeling these feelings, that you're still able to move forward and prosper and grow. What I don't want is a blockage. What I don't want is for people to stay in a situation stagnant because they're afraid of what's ahead, or because they are fearful of can I do this? What's going to come? What's going to happen? It's not for you to know. Before I go, and before Mercury moves direct, I want to remind you that although Mercury represents and rules communication and thoughts, thinking, and working movable items, messages, he brings back things that we need to see again. And whether that brings good, things that feel positive, or whether it brings bad, things that feel negative, which I'm not judging them as good or bad. I'm just using the words that I have. When you have situations show up and reveal themselves to you this week and this weekend, or whenever you hear this message, look at it and don't sit with it for too long. Don't overthink it. But listen to it and see it and say, remember when, I did this. Remember when this happened. Remember when I used to love you. and see it for what it is and grow from it and be grateful for it and move forward. The cycle is complete. The cycle has completed itself. We're in the dawning of a new moon, new beginnings, quiet energy that's ready to build. You might not see it immediately, but trust and believe it is building. The thing also, this last thing I'll say, and then I'm signing off, is that people want to heal themselves and they want to rush themselves with their healing. People are hesitant and resistant to moving forward because they feel like they haven't healed completely. They feel like I have to be whole and 100% healed in order for me to move forward. No, that's not the case, and that's something that I want to say here. You don't have to be whole and not be emotionally triggered or feel emotions in order to continue to grow and to experience and to welcome in blessings and to welcome in love. You'd be surprised because, again, you don't know how the universe is working, and your healing can actually be in the steps that you take to move forward. Your healing could actually be in the relationship, the next relationship. You don't have to be completely healed. Granted, you don't need to be reckless and hurting people's hearts or, toxic. Make sure you're not toxic. In any situation, you should not be toxic, but you don't need to be fully healed. I feel like that's a common misconception. Moving forward is a part of the healing process. The lessons that you'll experience and that you'll go through will help to heal and add like a wound, like wound cleansing to those areas that are gashed. And staying in that space, waiting for healing to occur before you move forward, only keeps you in a state now of like perpetual waiting, stagnation. When getting out and looking out again and exploring and experiencing is a part of your healing process. So don't stay in this current state waiting for the healing to miraculously occur, shuffling cards, praying, and the universe is saying, look, this is here for you for a reason. No one expects perfection, but I want you to be open. All right, my loves, that's my message for you today. Let me know if you would like to see more videos like this. Let me know how you're feeling. If you need to book a reading with me, the links for that are down in the description box. However, at the moment, I'm closed to readings because I'm currently all booked up. But if you're seeing this in the future, maybe they're open. And we'll talk soon. I love you. Bye.